have the most amazing man. Now, I've got to tell you, this guy gave me chills. You see, when we do the applications and choose who's going to be on the show, we go and research them. Now, this guy, I researched him. Oh my goodness. I went onto his website. As I'm scrolling down the website, there was videos of him speaking. Now, there are a lot of people out there that call themselves a motivational speaker. They talk the talk, but do they walk the talk? Today, my guest, he embodies the talk. He is the talk. He walks, lives, breathes, eats, loves, and is the talk. What you will hear today is something that you really need to see, hear, and feel. I want to introduce the most amazing man. Kijuan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. This is an amazing experience, first and foremost. And that introduction, I don't know how to follow it. I'll be honest, it was amazing. I really do appreciate it.
Well, I meant every word of it. You're an incredible soul, and I'm going to shut up because otherwise I'm just going to keep saying good things about you. What I want to hear is, please take us on the journey. Where did it all start?
Absolutely. So for me, I was in the United States Air Force at the time of this transition in my life, or what I call my new journey. And I was serving as an in-flight refueling specialist, and that's where you refuel planes in midair. Yes, correct. I did say that correctly. You refuel airplanes in midair. It was quite an exciting job, almost exciting as how you sound right now. So I, I loved every bit of that job, and for what happened to me, the tragedy that happened to me, it really hurt because I couldn't do that job anymore. And so I'm going to tell you guys what happened. May 5th, 2017. I don't know where you were, but I know what happened to me, and I know where I was. That was where I would be involved in a motorcycle accident where a car would pull out in front of me. Well, that day, I was also a CEO of my own company back then as well, where I would do website design and management, social media marketing, and photography. And I was doing photography that day, and I was leaving the place that I hosted one of the websites for, which was actually my church. And so I was just wanting to update the photos for them, but that motorcycle ride just wasn't long enough for me that day because it was such an amazing day. I mean, beautiful. In North Carolina, it was gorgeous. And so I said, well, let me take a ride to the lake, because Jordan Lake was one spot that I would go, sit on the dock and just relax, release, get peaceful, and just be there in the moment. Because a lot of times we're rushing, 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 and never sit to just relax in the moment. And so that's where I went to do that. Well, a car would come flying by, and I'm like, oh, there's a car. What time is it? This is how long I was sitting there. And I happened to look down at my wristwatch because I kept one then. And I was like, oh, yeah, I need to get going. I got to get going for the night. I had to work for the Air Force that night. So I hop on the bike and off I go. Well, on this road, there's only two lanes, the one I'm in and the one going past me. So no cars are coming, trees whizzing by. I mean, it's beautiful. We have great tree lines and everything here in North Carolina. And I'm listening to music in my helmet because I have a Bluetooth headset connected to my helmet. And I'm probably bumping back that time, 2017, some Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Magic, because that was a popular CD back then. For those Bruno Mars fans. And I mean, just an amazing day. I'm not thinking of anything that would ever happen, go wrong. I mean, just amazing until something does go wrong. Well, I'm getting ready to approach an intersection. And at these intersections, when you're on this back road, what I call a back highway, they usually cut back the trees. And I'm pretty sure they did for this one. So I'm not sure why the guy didn't see me coming down the road. It was broad daylight. My motorcycle accident happened at about 2 p.m. So this is not at nighttime. And so he would pull out in front of me. And as I always tell this story, I had three options. I could go right and go into the trees. I could go left and go into oncoming traffic, or I could do as many know that I already did. I ended up hitting him. I'm pretty sure I just froze. I didn't know what to do because I was not expecting a car to pull out in front of me, considering I saw you. Why don't you see me? And even in the police report that was written, it said that there were two cars behind him that did see me. So what happened? I still don't know to this day. But what I do know is I was life flighted to UNC Hospital in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where now I'm fighting for my life. That's what I do know. Well, after countless surgeries, literally from head to right foot, I had to be put back together like Mr. Potato Head. Not only was my face crushed in, I had to have two metal plates surgically implanted in my head where they would have to cut me from ear to ear first off to even relieve the pressure on my brain that I sustained for my traumatic brain injury. Then the right eye, the bottom portion of the eyelid was torn off due to, I'm not sure, maybe the plexiglass from the eye shield from the helmet is what I would guess. But that had to be surgically replaced by skin grafting, and they used my left clavicle for that. And then, as I told you, I became blind. There were some damage to my eyes via like physical, like you can visually see it with the scar tissue. But I also, in my left eye, damaged blood vessels. So that one's completely dark. My right eye sees a little bit of light perception, but that is it. And it's got to be bright light, like the sun or that really annoying light that they shine in your eye at the eye doctor. So that's just oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Also, my jaw would be broken and I would have chipped and cracked teeth all on the right side of my face. That was probably the cheapest part of my bill, which was $20,000. Now, to move further down the body, if you go into my torso, my spinal cord was broke and now it has to be medically infused. So I now walk around every day with 2 rods and 12 screws in my back from L4 to T2. Now going on to my legs, broke both of them. My right leg, I broke my femur, which I now have a new titanium rod there, and that's the biggest bone in your body. I would also go on to break my tibia in my left leg, and there's a new rod there, and fractured my fibia in my right foot and my right leg, and I have a screw in my right foot. And so that's literally from head all the way down to my right foot of injuries that I have suffered from and I still deal with on a daily basis. The biggest thing that really it's comical to say now, but like when I was in the moment, I don't wish this on anybody. I still don't till today. Still would never wish this because I really had to go from living a life of being in the work in the United States Air Force. I mean, doing one of the most amazing jobs. That job is so intricate that it's just like one of those things that you do not believe is real. It's one of those. And then also being an entrepreneur at the time and going to college full time because I was a reservist now as a boom operator is what we call it. So now I'm a reservist. So I was able to go to college full time and study for computer information systems. All of this was happening at the age of 25. So everything was looking up for me. I was going to get my degree so I could commission to be a pilot. I wanted to now fly that plane instead of going to the back of it. There's nothing wrong with going to the back, but you make more money in the front. So that was my goal. I had 1 year left on my degree until it was derailed. So my new life journey when I wake up in the hospital on June the 6th, 2017. Remember, my accident was May 5th, but now I'm waking up June 6th, 2017 from a medically induced coma. With all the surgeries, countless surgeries that I had to go through, they had no choice but to put me in some kind of coma because my heart rate was skyrocketing and just the pain would have been unbearable. And so, funny enough, I even had the doctor who did my spinal cord surgery. He told me to my face, and this was during a follow up appointment. He told me to my face. He said, "I was just doing your surgery for protocol." And for those who don't know what that means they don't know if you're going to make it or not. But they got called to do the surgery. And so, as I continue my story, I wake up June the 6th in my hospital bed, which I have no clue that I'm in the hospital. I just know I'm in a bed. I'm thinking it's my bed. I think I'm at home because I have not yet tried to open my eyes. I just hear people. I'm like, okay, I'm usually the first person to wake up in my house. So do I hear people talking? Who was that? That was my mom and my ex-girlfriend now. They were in my hospital room, but I'm thinking it's my bedroom. I'm like, what are they doing? Okay, I know why she would be here, but what is my mom doing here? And I'm listening, as we call it in North Carolina, we call it playing possum. And for those who don't know what a possum is, they'll just lay there lifeless as if they're dead sometimes. And so that's what I was doing. I was like, I'm going to listen. I'm not going to make any subtle movements. I'm just going to see what's going on here. And I'm listening to them talk about this motorcycle accident. I was like, whoa, that just got serious. Well, who got in a motorcycle accident? And they never mentioned a name. And so I wake up and I try to go to open my eyes. And I opened them, but I wasn't able to see anything. Okay, this just got real. So I do one of those really hard blinks where you think you're going to clear your vision. Yeah, that didn't happen either. It didn't work. And so now I'm like, wait a minute. Then I try to go to speak. But remember, my jaw is broken. So they wired it shut so that I wouldn't damage it. Okay, this is a nightmare. I can't see. I can't talk. What's going on? And I'm about to start panicking now. So they hear me talking and they come to my bedside. And the next thing I know, I'm like, what is going on? I'm trying to murmur enough so they can understand what I'm saying. And lo and behold, here's where it really gets serious. My mom can't understand me, so she hands me a pen and a notepad. And I was like, I know she knows I can't see. Why did she just hand me a pen and a notepad? Well, apparently, while I was in a medically induced coma, I was able to do this. I'm guessing my subconscious was still able to function to a certain level. And that's what they had been doing, was giving me the pen and notepad so that I could write things. And look, I yanked that pad and I said, what is this motorcycle accident dream you guys are talking about? And I handed it back to her. She was like, well, that's not a dream. What do you mean? That was me. She was like, yes, that's you, that's you. I was like, whoa. And now I don't know who out there listening has ever had something really, I mean, gut wrenching, straight heart punching. I mean, just knocks the sure wind out of you. But that one took the whole wind out of my sail. And I just sat back in that bed and literally felt like I sunk in. I didn't speak for the rest of that day, or right, shall I say, for the rest of that day until June the 7th, when I was like, okay, well, this is not going to help. Me not talking is not going to help anything. What happened? How did this happen? When did this happen? What is today? I didn't even know what day it was. And so I started asking all these questions, and I was getting the answers because I mean, clearly around the clock, like people were always in my room. And I don't just mean hospital staff, I mean family, friends, and others. But which was also a blessing to me. So I'm getting all the answers. Okay, it wasn't my fault. Oh, great. But wait, this still happened. Wait, I gotta go to work, right? No, I missed that day. Wait, what's today? June the 7th. Hold on. What? Oh God, I gotta slow down. And this is how I'm feeling. These are all the emotions that are coming running back. And so I am literally about to panic because I feel like I'm supposed to be going to work. How am I going to get to work? They're going to come looking for me. I'm in the military. They're going to consider me AWOL. This is not good. And so that's all I could think at the time. Well, they eventually started calming me down. And I think those medications helped because they were like, well, you need to take your blood pressure medication and you might want to take this too. and so, and so I did finally calm down enough to understand that I'm going to have to figure this out. You know, most people, when we have stuff this traumatic happen to us, the first question we ask is, why me? Well, I was no different. I said, why me? And then I just wanted to sit there and I'm like, dude, I don't like pity parties. I don't like stuff like this. This is not me. And the next thing I know is I hear, well, why not you? I'm like, okay, I know I'm in this room by myself, so who is that? Well, I'm a faith believer. And that voice had to be none other than God. And he was like, well, why not you? You do a lot of things without your sight. You close your eyes to play the drums some of the times. People tell you that all the time. You walk in the house without lights on. You don't like cutting them on when you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And I know there were some listeners there with me on that one. And so, why not you? When you were a little kid, you used to love to play hide and seek at night outside, and you were the best at it because you could see very well at night. And it was just one of those things. And so, I, instead of thinking of the why me, I started focusing on the why not me aspect. And I started seeing ways that I could deal with it. It's like, well, I know it's going to take time, but I think I could do this. And that was the mindset shift. That's what it really takes, that mindset shift. When I changed my mindset from focusing on the negative side and switched it to the positive side, it was on. What I have not mentioned yet is I used to play football. I used to run track. That stuff was in high school. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still did that stuff after high school because I was playing semi-pro football when I was in the reserves. So I still played those sports. Now it's time to turn back into that competitor. Now it's time to get up out of this bed. Hey, I can't walk anymore, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to get back on our feet. I might be down right now, but I'm going to get back up. And so when physical therapists will come in there, hey, it's me and you. Me and you. So either you're gonna help me get up or you're gonna get out of my way. One of the two. And so I had some interesting encounters with them. You know, some days weren't good, some days were. But you know, the best part about it was they got me to a point where I was supposed to be, and that was able to take steps, at least stand up, and literally having to use the parallel bars. Um, I was wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair for a couple months, not too long, but a couple of months. And then I moved from wheelchair to walker. And then I graduated from a walker to a support cane. And my goal was to be walking again by myself on my own 2 feet before my birthday that year. So my accident was May 5th, 2017. My birthday was November 22nd. Well, guys, listeners, I almost beat my goal by a month. I got up and started walking again in October of that same year. Now, I might not have been the most sturdy thing walking, but I was doing it. And I was actually proud of myself. And so were a lot of other people who saw me walk because I was getting back out and not just going to appointments, but I was able to go back to, different things that I used to do, like church and, just outings like that. But it was one of those things where I was like, okay, if I can do that, then I know I can get back into doing something else. So now I have to learn how to be blind. All right, let's go to some blind rehab centers. Let's go to some blind rehab clinics. Let's go, let's do these different things that are for blind people. Instead of running away from it, I'm going to run towards it. This way I can be better at it. This way it'll help me instead of hindering me. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit, but I'm going to come back. I've been flying around the US by myself and I'm blind. Okay. I've been flying around I'm on the East Coast in North Carolina. I went all the way to Washington State, okay, by myself. Now, what I do is I coordinate for people to meet me where I'm going. And that's how you do it. You coordinate at the airports that you're going to and you're leaving from. And that's the biggest thing is just coordinating. They have these things in place for us. We just have to learn how to use them. And I mean, I'm gone. Everybody, every time I come home, they're like, man, you don't let no grass grow under your feet. And I said, I don't want it. I don't want it to, because then I got to cut it. But anyway, going back to the story, I wanted to make sure that I was going to be someone who could navigate life, whether it be independent or still having limited dependency upon others. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to say, yes, I can do stuff by myself, but if I need to, because we do live in a society where there are more people who can see than those who cannot. So we do live in that society. I still sometimes need help, which I'm not too prideful to ask for. And that's another thing, not being prideful. So I did that. I also went through mental therapy. And I always recommend this for anybody who goes through something traumatic, especially it does not have to be as big as my accident. It can be small. If anything seems to trigger you, you should be going through therapy. And I advocate for that any day of the week because I'm going through it right now. And it is 2025. My accident was 2017, and I'm still wanting help. In any way, shape, or fashion, I try to do that. So as I move forward, and that also helps better your life because you can use those resources that they give you and those hints and tools that they give you to move forward in life. But as I go forward in my recovery, one thing that I will say is there are certain things from the past that really sit differently when something has happened to you, or you have to view something a different way now. And that was a quote that never stuck with me before, but it does now. I've watched this show 1,000 times because I love it, and I love the main character. He's one of my favorite actors. And this is a TV show some I'm sure may be familiar with, and if you're not, feel free to check it out. But it's called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And there was one episode where there's this quote, and Will, he had a rich family, so they could give him whatever he needed. But there was a young man he was playing basketball against that had a son. He this is high school now, and he had a son, and he's trying to get to college. This is senior year, he's trying to get to college, and they were playing against each other in a basketball game. Well, both of them knew there was going to be a college scout in the stands. Well, Will let him go by to get the winning basket and win the game so that he can so-called impress the scout. And what I appreciated about this episode was that the guy came back to the gym after the game was over. And he was like, man, why'd you let me go around you? He's like, oh, come on, man. I didn't let you go around. He said, I know your game. You let me go around you. He's like, well, I got a rich family. You impressed the scout last night. What's wrong? At least you'll get to go to college. He said, see, the problem is you're trying to say that my situation is why I need to go to college. And he said, what I'm going to tell you is my situation does not define who I am. I define who I am. And when I heard that, it made so much sense for that moment. But then I flipped it for me. My situation of being visually impaired, being slightly immobile, like the different things that I have to go through don't define me. I define me. Let me define me. Instead of you putting labels on me, instead of you telling me what I'm supposed to be, or just flat out doing everything for me. Because I've had that done before too. But that quote really stuck with me. And it was one that I still hold on to today. And even like with my motivational speaking business, I am currently, doing things that I didn't think I would be doing. Um, like setting up my own events and just getting out here trying to, for example, here, booking podcasts. I'm doing these things on my own. And people are so baffled. I wrote my book. My book, Don't Focus on Why Me, From Motorcycle Accident to Miracle. I wrote that myself. There was no ghostwriter. That was me. Now, I did have an editor. I did have a book formatter and someone create the cover for me. I wrote everything else though. And so when I tell people that, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, first off, I wanted it to be my story, not somebody else's. And the other thing was that was one thing I really was proud of, was the fact that I was able to get done with that book and publish it. So things that really make me tick and keep me grounded. And I said this before speaking to someone. I said, when things like this happen to you, where it really turns your life around, you have to make sure you don't lose yourself. Because some people go trying to find something that they're not. If I was a person who played the drums before I lost my sight, I'm gonna figure out how I can. I heard Stevie Wonder plays the drums. He can't see. Well, shucks, I think I can do it. And I can proudly say I'm darn good at it, okay? There are definitely videos out there of me playing the drums without sight. So I'm pretty sure I'm good at it. I even have my own kit here at the house. And I play it quite often, whenever I can get a chance anyway. And so don't lose yourself in trying to be something you're not, or trying to find something that you just, oh, well, I can't do that anymore. Well, who says you can't? I heard Henry Ford say, whether you can or you can't, either way you're right. Either way you're right. If you say it, if you say it, you think it, you believe it, you're right. And that's one thing we have to be mindful of, is our actual mindfulness. Because that's the biggest thing when it comes to being a motivational speaker, when it comes to even hearing a motivational speaker, when it comes to being just you. Whether you're somebody who works for the military, somebody who works at a doctor's office, you are probably gonna either let that patient be the best patient you have, or the worst patient you guys have that day, because of how you came off. Now, there are some people who are just, done with the system. So I can't go that far. But you could probably brighten their day, because I've had it happen to me. So I just want to, end with that, and there's just so much I could say, but I don't want to overdo it. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. If you're still there, I can't hear you.
I have chills.
Oh,
Sorry.
man.
My mic was on mute because
Yeah.
I was sitting here just because you were full screen for everybody to see. And I was sitting here just, I've got to use the word gobsmacked. Okay, because I could feel the journey that you were on. Now I've got some questions for you. I've got some some things to laugh about as well. First thing I have to say is, so are you now the hero of TSA?
Ah,
Because
I guess we're both. I guess we're both gonna laugh at that one. I would say I have encountered some incredible people in TSA.
yeah.
So for those people who do travel a lot, you're so used to them telling you what to do.
Mhm.
Well, yes, they have to do that to keep order, because otherwise it'll be chaos with so many people that go through those airports every day.
Yeah.
Now, what reason I say I've met some incredible people is because on the TSA side that I use is called Cares. So TSA Cares is who I use. So for those who have like disabilities, small children, children that fly by themselves, things like that. That's who you should get in touch with before their flight. Maybe I think it's like 3 days before the flight or something like that. You should get in touch with them before their flight, whatever airport they're flying out of. And if they have the uh, capacity to handle that request that you put in, they will. Now, I'm telling you right now, I have had some amazing times, and then I've had some people that are like, well, they just getting started, so they really don't know. Hey, do you need this? Do you? And I'm like, I don't need that much, but are you just gonna leave me right here?
Yeah.
Like those moments, because I have had it where they just drop me off at the gate and and I'm
And
like,
they run.
Hello, are you still there? And they're gone, because the gate agent hasn't shown up yet. Because I like to get to the airport early,
Mhm.
um, so there are those moments. But oh gosh, there's this one lady. What's her name? Um, Miss Hazel. Miss Hazel out of Raleigh Durham International Airport. She is the most loveliest woman I've ever met. Okay, she's just and she's like so tiny. I love her because I'm tall. I'm 6'1" and weigh about 235. But to me she's tiny, and but
Mhm.
her heart is mighty. She has the biggest heart ever. And I love her so much, so dearly. Last time I went to the airport, she's like, "You better not walk past me without saying hey." And I was like, "I didn't see you."
I didn't see you.
I was like, "So it's not my fault. I didn't see you. It's an honest thing." So So yeah, no, she's amazing, and that's what I have other people who remember me when I walk through there as well, especially Raleigh, Durham, because that's the usually the airport that I fly out
Mhm.
of since I'm in North Carolina, and they be like, "I've seen you before." I'm like, "You have?" Look, the question is where.
Yeah.
That's the real question because I don't go too many places. But they're like, "No, here in the airport." Oh, I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I come to here quite often." But yeah,
Yeah, because I would say with all the metal in you now,
oh,
every
hey,
detector
I
you would just blast it out off the charts.
I have a funny story about that, and this is the first metal detector I ever went through after my accident. So
Hmm.
we were going into a government facility. So it's a government building that I had to go to for my veteran service officer at the
Hmm.
time, to get some paperwork filled out for claims and stuff. And she was like, "Oh yeah, we gotta go through a metal detector." I said, "Oh okay." So I took out my phone and everything and my cane and put it in the metal the bin, and then
Hmm.
she was like, "I'm gonna walk through first, and then I'll grab your hand so you can come through." And I said, "Okay, this is my mom I'm referring to."
Yep.
And so the guard is standing off to the left of me, and she grabs my hand, and I'm walking through, and that's like, I said, "What did you do?" And she was like, "What did I do?" I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have metal inside of me."
Yeah, but if they go to wand you, they start at the top and it's sort of beep, beep, beep. Okay, so there's some there. Then they go down, yep, beep, beep, beep on your back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go further
Yeah,
down, there's beep, 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 beep. Are you Steve
I
Austin, the
tell them
$6 million
about
man?
Yeah, I tell them I have it like literally from head to foot, and they're like, okay." And they're like, "Can you stand in this machine?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can stand. That's fine." Because sometimes I go through the airport in a wheelchair, depending on how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Can you stand up?" And I have to stand up and put my hands above my head and all that stuff. And this time the machine, it needed to be recalibrated, so they couldn't use it. I was like, okay. And so I
Yeah.
had to walk out, and they had to warn me, and he's like, "Okay, yeah." And then we're gonna have to get your hands, and then we're gonna have to wipe your shoes. I'm like, okay, yeah. They
Yeah.
were like, "Would you like to go to a secure area, or are you okay with doing it right here?" I said, "You might as well violate me here."
It's not like you're going to see anyone watching you.
All
Uh,
right, you're not taking my clothes off, so you might as well violate me here. So,
so I do have some other questions.
Mhm.
First of all, you said that you still didn't understand how the driver didn't see you. Didn't the police report explain that at all?
No, actually, it actually do. So the only thing it explained was the two cars behind him, who said they saw me.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't think he ever gave a statement as far as like why he didn't see me. Um, he did, however, while I was in the hospital, want to come pay me a visit to,
Yeah.
apologize and all those types. I said no. I declined because literally I'm just getting used to knowing that I am even injured. Like it hadn't even been like 2 weeks, and he's trying to come see me when I wake up anyway. Shall I say? Um,
Yeah.
so I would give it what, a month and 2 weeks from the actual accident, but 2 weeks since I had waken up, it hadn't even been, and he's trying to come see me. I'm like, no, I don't want any parts. Like you've changed my life forever,
Yeah.
forever. Like this is not a temporary thing. And my thought process behind it was, if you even utter the fact that you were looking at a phone, like something that distracted, if something that you were distracted by is why you pulled out in front of me, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to contain myself.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that.
So I was just keeping myself, with everything that I was already dealing with. I just didn't want to add any more to it, basically.
Yeah, that's fair enough too. Okay, now you also said that your spine's been fused.
Yeah.
Did you actually have paralysis, or was it just your spinal column was swollen and the bones were crushed?
Oh yeah, no, they were broke.
Yeah, the
These
bones were
the
broke, but
these
your
bones
spinal
are broke.
cord wasn't. The
Yeah,
cord
these bones
itself
are
wasn't.
broken. So
Yeah.
the area basically that the spinal cord infusion is like basically your midsection.
Hmm.
So where your the major portion of your stomach is,
Yeah.
like that's where my spinal cord is infused.
Hmm.
Because and I'm guessing that's from the me hitting the tank. It's probably that tank that did it.
Hmm.
Where you ride a crotch rocket and
Yep.
me being jarred forward like that. Cause I was doing 55 miles an hour. I was not going slow. I was doing 55, and that was the actual speed limit. So imagine if I had been speeding. That was the
Oh,
actual speed limit.
while you were telling this part of the story, I was just sitting here with my hand over my mouth.
Yeah.
I was just because I was seeing the picture of you going past these trees and then the
Yes. Yes.
intersection coming up, and just my heart stopped
Hmm.
as you were explaining it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I try to paint that picture very well because that's basically what it was for me. Like everything I told you, that's what it was. There's nothing I fabricated, nothing I added to, took away from. It was just what it was. Now, what I can say is, from the moment of me freezing up, I remember nothing else of it.
Thank
I
goodness.
remember nothing. So after I start telling you about that police report, that's on everybody else. Everything I tell you up to that point, like going right, going left, eating, oh, that's me. But after that, I don't know anything else.
Yeah, but that's the body's defense mechanism
Exactly.
to and strangely enough, that's what happens with women when they give birth and they go through the pain of birth. The body removes the memory of that pain. Otherwise, the human race would have died out a long time ago.
I believe it would have.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of incredible what the human race is. Um, I love the point of you playing possum.
Yeah.
I've had surgery myself, and I remember waking from surgery and my consciousness coming back. And I also had an emergency surgery situation, and I was aware for myself. My feet, my ankles were tied to the bed.
Mm,
My arms were tied to the bed. My
mm,
head was tied to the bed. I had this big tube thing in my mouth, and I'm
right.
just regaining consciousness, and I'm starting to feel the parts of my body again.
Hmm.
And so that whole playing possum, I understand that so intimately
Yeah.
because your consciousness returning, and then there's the shock of what actually happened. For
Oh
me,
yeah.
I know I died on the operating table and I had a near death experience.
Mm.
So um, it was totally mind blowing. And then you're looking at your body, or in my case, I was able to see my body and going, "What the?" And then you're coming to terms with having to be able to move, eat, drink, the tubes, the drugs, the medication in particular.
Yeah.
And then your brain is going, why me?
Hmm.
And then why not me?
Right.
Why not me? And I see that in my coaching business. When I'm coaching people, they have a situation happen and they're going, oh, why me? Why did that have to happen to me? Well, why not you? You're already amazing. You have this incredible gift to this life.
Hmm.
This is your chance to develop that gift in a way that you did not imagine you were going to develop it. And this is your chance to touch even more lives. Now, because of what I've personally experienced, I've touched through television hundreds of million people because of the choices that I've made in my life. That's total mind blowing.
Hmm.
Now, here we are on Amazon, and there's millions of people that could be listening to this particular show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're going to look at you and go, you've defined who you are.
Hmm.
Who am I? I define who I am.
That's right.
Your words, I define who I am. And it's not what happened to you. It's not what you are capable of or not capable of. It's not what you can see or not see. It's who you are. And this is why when I was reading about you and then hearing your story, I get chills.
Hmm.
Because as I said in the intro, you don't just talk the talk. You walk the talk, you live the talk, you love the talk. You get on planes and travel across the country.
Yeah.
You're not letting things stop you.
Hmm.
You're not letting what happens stop you. And do you have bad days? Oh, yes.
Hmm.
But on those bad days, what do? You look after yourself and you carry on.
Exactly.
And most importantly, you look after yourself on those days.
Hmm.
But you keep going. And you keep being this inspiration to everyone. I could see Will Smith from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I used to watch it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've worked with all sorts of people with different abilities and life challenges in my time. I grew up going to school, and my mother was the administrator of the spinal unit. That's why when I was asking about your spine,
Hmm.
because I've worked with quadriplegics, I've worked with tetraplegics, I've worked with paraplegics, and I saw them all when I was a child. I've played wheelchair basketball. I've played pool with guys in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
I've seen people with severe spinal injuries who have got skull tongs, and that's where they put metal in people's shoulders and then into their head and immobilize the skull so that they don't injure themselves further until they get fused.
Right.
I've worked with all sorts of different people, and oh my goodness, the power of the human spirit, the power of the human mind, the power of the human body, the power of the human heart, and the power of the human faith and belief. You're showing that power every day. And you were basically kicked in the butt, something chronic,
Hmm.
and your life was picked up and gone, right, we're just going to change it. We'll just put it over here. And we're just going to change it because what you're now going to do We're going to challenge you. We're going to give you a bigger challenge than you've ever imagined. But we're also going to give you the ability to touch more hearts. Do you know who you remind me of? And it's really interesting that I want to compare you to him because he's also a man with faith. He's a man who had a birth situation. And he's now what I would call I would say he's the world's greatest faith-based motivational speaker. And his thing is hugs. Because he has no arms.
I think I know you're talking about.
Nick Vujicic.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
I would love to see you and him on stage together.
Oh, you and me both.
He is, to me, he is one of the greatest. To me, he's the number one faith-based motivational speaker. I rank you number 2.
Oh, thank you.
Because everything that you have shared with us today has been real.
Yes.
You're not just saying motivational stuff to excite people.
Exactly.
You're not just saying stuff. This is life. This is love. This is power. This is people's truth. While I listened to your story, part of me wanted to cry at the pain that you went through. But I also wanted to cry because of the pain that I'd gone through. Then I wanted to laugh. And one of the key things about laughing was when you were talking about these metal plates in your body and you're going through the parts, all I could see was you walking up to TSA, setting off all the alarms and all their equipment going nuts, and then going, oh, crap, oh, we've got to deal with, hang on, is this person, what are they? And I could just see the panic on there. Oh, no. And here you are, this danger to society.
I do my best to inform them before I come that I got metal implants.
But then
you know what's interesting? What's interesting is, like I told you earlier, I fly so frequently through there that they now know. Like they will say it for me. He's got metal implants. I'm like, dang, y'all remember, don't you?
Yeah, because now, because they know, they still do their job. They still wand you. They still check you. But they are more relaxed because now they understand who you are and they don't have to be scared for their own lives.
That's right.
But they still do their job professionally. They still check you thoroughly. And but now, because they know who you are, they have more respect for you. Now, they showed you respect already.
Oh, yeah.
But they understand that you're now no longer a danger to them or the aircraft. But they have to do their job with integrity because they have to respect everybody. But it doesn't mean to say that they're not now treating you with that little bit more friendliness, that little bit more respect.
Yeah, no, trust me. They definitely check me.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I know, here I am joking, but I know they're still doing their job thoroughly. But because they know of you, it reduces their stress and you're actually making their job a little bit easier. And, kudos to you for still taking these actions. I love the fact that you fly to wherever you want to fly to. And yet it takes a little bit of coordination.
Yeah.
But you're not sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself. And I want to ask you, now you said that you were going through, you still go through therapy.
Mhm.
Do you still have anger towards the guy who hit you?
Honestly, no. So, like I say, my faith, I forgive. And what I've been taught through my faith of Christianity is that when you forgive, you have to let it go. You can't hold on to that because that's begrudgingly. You're still dealing with that. Now, whether or not that person forgives, that's not for me. That's for them. And so I forgave them. Now, what I will say is my anger usually comes from stuff that happens to me right now. It's not usually uh something that I'm dwelling on or thinking about reminiscing. I really haven't even thought about that guy until I do interviews. That's the only time I ever think of him. And that's how it should be. Because if you're forgiving, you shouldn't be thinking about that every day. Now, what I do think about is the things I can't do anymore. And that just is not necessarily anger, that's more depression than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I go to mental therapy more so because of my depression state. And I'm like, okay, I got to stop thinking about that. And it's easier said than done, but this is why I go to therapy because they give you coping skills, they give you different tools, different tricks to help you with getting through. And then I also do not just mental therapy, but music therapy because I told you I'm a musician. I play
Yes.
drums and I started learning the keyboard back in the pandemic 2020. So I've been playing that too. And I'm also a singer. So I do different things to help me, not just one trick fix all. So I'm one of those.
I agree. It's important to have the therapy, and depression is one of those. I'm going to call it the silent killer. And I'm not talking about suicide or death here. I'm talking about spirit. I'm talking about
Yeah.
belief. I'm talking about love of the self.
Mhm.
And depression is the killer of that.
I can speak to that as well because I wrote a chapter about that in my book, and the chapter is called "The Depression Set In." And when the depression set in, I didn't want to move. I didn't want to get up, and this is when I was still in the wheelchair, so I didn't even want to go. Like I wasn't necessarily using the bathroom on myself, but if I didn't have to get out the bed to use the bathroom, I wasn't. I had a urinal beside my bed. I'm just gonna turn over, use the bathroom, put the urinal back on the floor, and I'm gonna lay back down. Literally, that is what I was doing because I did not want to do anything when the depression set in. And finally, it just like it hit me. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Because this laying around stuff don't feel no better. It actually hurts. It was hurting the parts of me that were, now messed up. It was hurting my back, hurting my hip, my neck. Like it was hurting those parts that were actually messed up because I did have whiplash and my hip is now messed up. I have an incision on my left hip. So I don't know if they replaced something or what they did over there, but it does have its funky moments as well. But I was like, this does not help just laying around because this hurts. And I'm way more mobile now than I was then. So I'm barely turning left and right, being able to sit up in my bed. So it to say the least, me being depressed and lying around in my pity was not helping.
Yep. And what would you say to somebody today who is depressed, is hearing you, and they're stuck? What would be the one thing that you would say to them that would make the difference?
Well, first off, nobody gets through it by themselves. You can't do this on your own. That's like one of the most misconceptions I ever hear is people thinking they can pull themselves out of depression on their own. It's usually because of something else that got you out. Either a thought, either another person, whether it's your friend or family member, or an actual therapist. For me, who initially got me out of it was my uncle. He's a pastor, but he wasn't a pastor that night. He was an uncle. He said he did not say, "Well, I'm going to come over and we're going to pray and we're going to talk about the Bible." No, he said, "Key, I'm on my way." That's what he said to me. That right there I knew my uncle was coming. I didn't hear pastor coming. I didn't hear Pastor Mason coming. I heard my uncle coming. And when he got there, I'm just thinking we're gonna sit there and talk in the room. He's like, "Hey man, you want to throw on like some sweatpants and a hoodie or something?" I said, "Where we going?" So we're gonna take a ride. Huh? It's it's like I called him at 8 o'clock at night. So it's not like it was during the day. Now
Mhm.
you're leaving your warm house and your wife, and you're coming to help me. No, I should have said it the right way the first time. You're coming to save me. So we went for a ride in his truck and we just talked. And he like, what? So what's here's the question. So what's bothering you? I said, I just don't know what to do anymore. Like I'm really in a bad mood. Like, and grandma keeps telling me, call, pray and this and that. Cause I was staying with my grandmother at the time. I'm like, I do that already. I need a real human to talk to me now. And that was the thing. I needed a real connection at that time, or shall I say, a human connection, because I still consider my connection with God a real connection.
Mhm.
But anyway, uh, he said, well, this is after I explained to him what was going on. He said, Key, I'm surprised it took you this long. I was like, what does that mean? He was like, honestly, I thought you would have been going through this a long time ago. You've shown that you can handle the situation. Sometimes you just need a little bit more help.
Mhm.
And when I was listening to him talk, I'm like, well, he doesn't even come over the house that much, and he knows this. How? Like how? How do you know these things? And it was a connection that we had established somehow, some way, just by us talking, that he could understand I was doing way better than I thought I was. And that's the thing. We have to hear from someone else how good you're really doing, instead of saying, I could do better. Oh, I feel like I let myself down. Stop thinking that. That's that negative side. We got to switch the mindset to that positive side. Now, it's hard in the beginning. Yes,
Mhm.
but you have to seek help. I always tell people, seek help. Don't feel like you have to do this alone. I am a mentor and an ambassador for a reason, because I don't want anybody to feel left out or feel like they have to go through things alone. I am so upset with and I don't think it's a careless situation. I just think we don't have the right tools to better assess and help us out of this situation in the U.S. military of the suicide rate. It's crazy how many people take their own life every day, and these numbers are not getting smaller; they're getting bigger.
It's a real tragedy.
Yes, and so I'm here trying to do my best to continue posting positivity versus putting out this negative stuff that helps nobody. First and foremost, I don't care who you are. And you could argue me till the cows come home, as we say. There's nothing good about negativity. So stop posting it. So that's just me.
Look, what you've actually said is very true. That there needs to be help out there, and that You know, bad things happen to people, and you need to find somebody else to help you. And your uncle, he saw you, and that day was your turning point. That was your next kick in the butt.
Yeah.
Literally, it was. It was your next kick in the butt. And
Yeah.
what we don't understand often is that we see the negative, and the media and social networks, they love that narrative because negativity breeds interaction,
Mhm.
which feeds their advertising. But we as humans, we actually thrive on love. We
Right.
thrive on passion. We
Mhm.
thrive on people with drive. You look at the motivational people that are out there today, the ones who are making the biggest impact. And what is the one thing that they all have? They all have passion.
Mhm.
And they've all gone on their own journeys. They've had their own darkness, they've had their own light, they have their own faith and belief, whatever that is. And they share that message to people. Now, I want people to be able to contact you. So, how can people get hold of you? Because you said you're a mentor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how are people meant to contact you?
Yeah. So, I mean, you have my website of amymotivation.com. And that again is AMEY motivation.com. On there, you can find all my
Yep.
social media handles embedded in the website. But also, if you want to book me for speaking engagements and things of that nature, there is a book me link on there to click and fill out the proper form for that. Other than that, my book is also on there. The one that I mentioned, Don't Focus on Why Me from Motorcycle Accident to Miracle, where I do have some great stories about my recovery, but lessons as well. That book is not, and I've heard so many different people say it. They're like, now it's a good read, but you give some great lessons in this story. It's like you're writing a letter to your readers. And I was like, well, I wanted to make it different. I didn't want it just to be a regular book. I wanted to make it different. And so that there's also the videos that you mentioned in this show that they can go check out. And so that's a lot about me as far as where you can find everything. That's a one-stop shop basically. You can go and find everything about.
Excellent. Look, I want to thank you so much for being here today. I still have chills.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
get you a coat.
well, it's about -6 where I'm living at the moment.
Oh man,
But I have the heating on, so I'm actually toasty warm.
that's nice.
But the chills are more because I. This is why I love doing this show, because your story. Wow. I mean, Nick Vujicic is one of my, well, the one of the top people in my vision.
Mhm.
You're now next to him.
Oh wow, thank you.
I want to
It's an
see
honor.
you. I want to see you doing events around the world. I want to
I
hear
do too,
you.
honestly.
I want to see you on stages around the world. I want the world to people like you. When you say why me and why not me, why you? Because you're here to make a difference in the world. I have fans in multiple countries all around the world. I'm sitting right now in Poland, and I have fans in Peru.
Wow.
Okay, now that's one of those countries that you go, huh? You got a fan there? Yeah. She saw my show, loved it, messaged me, became a friend on Facebook.
Mm.
And it was sort of, and then people tell you what you've done for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you also said that we get external validation always. more so than what we do internal validation. Our internal validation is often more negative than positive.
Right.
Now, I've been there. I have people who come up to me going, "Wow, I read this. I did that. What you said on that show changed my life." And you sort of look at people and go, "But I'm just me."
Yeah.
But being just you is amazing. And for all of those who are watching, you are amazing.
Hmm. You
And
are.
you have to know and believe in yourself, because you don't have to go through a motorcycle accident to know how
Mhm.
amazing you are. You don't have to go through other struggles and difficulties to know your greatness. You just have to get up and take that step, that first step. And it might be shaky. You might have parallel bars. You might only
Hmm.
do 2 steps and have to sit back down.
Oh man.
Take that step. Kijuan, I want to thank you so much for today. You have been incredible.
Thank you so
And
much.
people, our darling audience, please get out there, contact him, and get that book. Is that book available on your website or on Amazon or on both?
Yeah, yes, you can find the link on my website. That again is amymotivation.com. And it's also discoverable on Amazon, Kindle, and Apple Books.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Wow. What an interview. We'll see you on the next
Thank you.
episode.
Thank you.
And we stop. Okay, well done, my friend. You were incredible. Now, yes, I am still recording again. This is for the B-roll. Oh my
Thank you. I
goodness.
mean, it was awesome. I had a great time.
Look, I try to, I want, like I said at the beginning, this is your story, your way.
Mhm.
And that's why I let people have as much time as they need to speak.
Mhm.
Because in the flow, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to you. And at one point, like I said, I wanted to cry
Mhm.
because I could feel the pain and the suffering. And it reminded me of my own hospital experience. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going, wow. And
Yeah.
then the metal plates and TSA, and I'm just going, oh man, you must be a TSA nightmare. And I was
When,
just
when you
giggling.
told when you told me about how you woke up in the hospital and you were strapped to the bed,
Yeah.
all I could think about was I might not have been strapped to a bed when I woke up, but I'm actually kind of grateful that I can't see what I look like now.
Yeah.
And I say that because I don't know how the key one, I don't know how key one would handle it. Now people, they say, "Oh, you look great, blah 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 blah." Yeah, but do I still look like how I envision I look? You know? And I had to sit back and think, well, the main thing you need to focus on how you look is on the inside, because that's what really tells people who you are. Your character, who you are on the inside. So don't focus on the outside appearance. Yes, I still go to the gym and work out because I do want to look good when I step on those stages. But the biggest thing that I had to focus on is my inside. The inside is what I want to better and make people see versus the outside appearance.
And there's why I said at the beginning, you're so authentic, and you're just amazing,
Thank you.
because this is just, not many people make me speechless. Okay. And the people that make me speechless are those who are authentic.
Mhm.
And not many people will make me be a fanboy. I've been around all sorts of people. And I don't fanboy much.
Right.
But what I see in you, yeah, I see you at that level that Nick Vujicic is at. Oh, hello. My cat has just come out to say hello. she
Well,
she
welcome to the interview. You're a tad bit
yeah,
late.
yeah, she's really clever with her timing because
Oh, okay.
she normally waits till I've actually completely finished, but she
Mm.
just came out to say hello. She's had something to eat and she's just sitting on the couch now. She's just gonna curl up. She's 7 years old, and
Okay.
I have a very special relationship with her because I used to live in Ukraine. I spent 10 years in
Okay.
Ukraine working in television there. And so
Yeah.
I've been seen on the Russian cable network all over the world.
Mhm.
That's why I've got hundreds of millions of viewers to those TV shows because they've been on the
Mhm.
cable networks all over the world.
Mhm.
Now, when the war started in 2022, I was in Kiev and I had 3 missiles explode in front of me. So I decided
Wow.
it's time to leave.
Yeah.
Kind of, when that happened, and I'm not a military person. So
Mhm.
I have no military experience.
Mhm.
Um, and so I carried my cat, for 3 days to
Mm.
evacuate. And I was with many of those thousands of people who were evacuating.
Yeah.
I carried her kilometers in -6 degrees with a wind chill of about -10.
Mm.
And we're walking outside. I'm carrying her and my luggage and backpacks, and my friend was carrying some other stuff. And we're evacuating with thousands of people.
Right.
So she's very, very close to me, um, because of that experience. I had to keep her safe, warm, comfortable, calm, whilst our whole world was crazy. And our train, we were on a train for 12 hours and we were missed by 8 cruise missiles by 20 minutes. We left the
Dang.
station. 20 minutes later, that area was hit by 8 cruise missiles. Yeah. So,
Talk about a close call.
oh, yeah. So we had all sorts of experiences, and so her and I are very, very close.
Yeah. I can see why.
Uh, yeah. Yeah. And I would make her eat. She would eat out of my hand, and I would make her drink and eat. And I basically made sure she was safe throughout that whole journey. And it was the most chaotic 3 days you could ever imagine.
Mhm.
And she was petrified, poor thing.
I believe it.
Um, so yeah, that's that story. But this is why I'm in. I mean, I've been in television for 30 years,
Mm.
behind the scenes, running computers, running the TV systems, and then now in front of the camera. Well, I've been in front of the camera now since 2012.
Mm.
So you're living your passion, and that's why when you said you're going to do your own events, I see you doing what Nick Vujicic does. If I were you, I would be contacting all the churches, organize a tour through all the churches, and start at one side of the country and go to the other. And you will just blow everybody's brain out.
Okay.
And your speaking will explode. There's still another book in you as well.
You're not the first person to say that.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. You've still got probably at least another 2, maybe 3. I would expect your journey is even bigger than you imagine.
Mhm.
I'm I'm gobsmacked. I can't wait to see more of what you do. And I'm going to give you a little challenge.
Okay.
And your challenge is to find a flight school, talk to the instructors, find an instructor who will take you up in a flight with you sitting in the pilot seat and him give you the instructions to fly a plane.
Mm.
Now, you already understand all the concepts because of your training. When I was 40, I went and did a flight myself on a Cessna 182. And what the instructor did was, because I'd played flight sim, I had an idea of what all the controls were. And he goes, right, and we took off. And he goes, okay, and I had my hands on the controls. And he goes, right, now level out at 1,000 feet. So we leveled out because I understood the artificial horizon. That's fine. He goes, right, now take it up to 2,000, but only go about 8 degrees. No, do 10 degrees. Okay, so
Okay.
I pull back and he's controlling the throttle. He's controlling the trim.
Mhm.
I'm just holding it steady, basically. And I
Right.
pull back. I raise us up 10 degrees. Up we go to 2,000. He goes, right, now turn and aim for that mountain. So I turn, aim for that mountain. Okay, that's fine. Turn again, aim for that mountain over there. Okay, yep, fine, did that. Then he goes, okay, turn, aim for IKEA. So I turn, aim for IKEA. He goes, right, now, can you see the runway? Yep. Okay, drop the nose by 8 degrees and aim for the runway. And we dropped the nose by 8 degrees. And as I came in, he goes, and you know to flare? And I went, yep. And I flared and we landed. Now, he had his hands ready on the controls,
Mhm.
but I was steering the plane.
Mhm.
Now, landing might be a little bit tricky.
Mhm. It can be.
Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky, but I see absolutely zero reason why you can't sit there at the controls, pull back and take it up, level off, take it up again, level off, turn. And I'm asking you to do that to see if you can do that because it was something you were incredibly passionate about when you had your sight.
Right. Yeah,
And
I'm gonna actually take it. I'm gonna accept that challenge.
yeah, because it's one of those, it's going to, and I'm not asking you to take off. I'm not asking you to land.
Mhm.
But while you're up there, having the feeling the controls, feeling the plane moving. What I didn't understand when I was doing that lesson was how much correction I would have to make. I was
Mhm.
constantly moving the wheel,
Oh
constantly,
yeah.
because of the wind. And I
Yeah.
had
Oh
only
yeah.
driven a car and I didn't understand there was all that altering going on.
Mhm.
But I've never forgotten the feeling of having that wheel in my hand and looking out the window. Well, I mean, okay, I was able to look out the window, but being able to having that feeling, that sensation, because you'll have that full body sensation of floating. And then as you move the wheel, you feel the plane move at your command.
Mhm.
Now, of course, having the instructor there to make sure that you're level and all the safety stuff, of course, let's talk common sense here.
Mhm.
But it would be an amazing advertisement for you.
Oh yeah.
You imagine this film crew, your local news crew, going, this blind guy flew the plane.
Yeah, I've seen the stories about a blind guy. I think he used to race, and he was in a race car just going straight, and he was trying to see if he could how fast he could go, and it was like on one of those wide open desert roads.
Yep.
And I mean, this cat got up. I think it was like 240 or something, but he was gone. I was like, that's some sure skill, man. Because I mean, yeah, all you're doing is locking it in, but he's still shifting gears and everything. But I
Yeah.
was like, that's it. Probably felt so amazing for him, to get back out there and do that.
And this is what I want, because I know that when you say that story on stage to an audience, they're gonna go, huh? Because there's a joke about a commercial pilot, and he was people were boarding, and they had a blind gentleman with his dog board,
Oh, I think
and
I seen that.
the blind gentleman needed to use the bathroom, so the flight attendant took him to the bathroom, and the pilot stood there with the dog, and so
Mm,
the pilot put his sunglasses down. And he's
yeah,
standing there with a dog with guide dog written all over it,
I
and
saw I
people are
saw that. I
boarding the
saw that.
plane. And sort of,
Yeah, I saw that one. Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I got
That's
another
okay.
appointment I got to get to.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so it was great talking to you, though.
Thank you for the day. It was an honor to my. It was an absolute honor.
Likewise, likewise.
And
Hope
we'll
to
keep in
talk to you
touch.
soon.
Okay, see you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.